39-year-old Cynthia Bartraore was going through a tricky time in her life when she vanished in 2021. Originally from Omaha, Nebraska, she moved to Texas in the early 2000s and began working as a substitute teacher. Around the time of her disappearance, she was in the middle of a divorce from her estranged husband while living with the oldest of her two sons in Crowley, Texas. Her younger son was staying with his father in Fort Worth, just 20 minutes away. Cynthia was last seen on February 3rd, 2021, when surveillance footage captured her at a Shell petrol station in the 1000 block of East Kriner Street in Grandview, Texas, about 26 miles from her home at 10:35 p.m. She climbed into her car and drove away, never to be seen again. According to her son, she had gone out that evening to run some errands, but never returned home. According to the Disappeared blog, Cynthia's family reached out to her estranged husband when she failed to answer their calls and texts. He reportedly told them that she was in the hospital, but upon contacting the hospital, a nurse told them that a patient matching her name and description wasn't there. At this point, Cynthia's loved ones reported her missing. During the time she was supposedly in hospital, her final divorce hearing took place. The first thing that police discovered upon starting their investigation was that the mother of two had been seen on surveillance footage at the Shell petrol station. Several witnesses claimed that her behavior was a little odd during this time, although it is unclear how. Her family have pointed out that Cynthia suffers from mental health issues stemming back to trauma she endured at an earlier point in her life, and they believe she may have been going through something and experiencing symptoms that day. For weeks, there was no sign of Cynthia or her vehicle, a blue Mazda CX-5 with Texas license plates, and this was in part due to a bitter snowstorm that overtook Texas between the 11th and 20th of February. It wasn't until the 16th of February that a state trooper discovered the vehicle abandoned on Interstate 35 near mile marker 355 in Waco, Texas, about an hour from the petrol station. Notably, the mother of two didn't know anyone in Waco. The battery was dead, the gas tank was empty, the keys were still inside, and there was no sign of Cynthia. Even her handbag was gone. Although the car belonged to a missing person, it was immediately towed, and her family were not notified of its discovery for several days. After learning that the vehicle had been found on February 25th, several of Cynthia's family members contacted the authorities. According to the website they set up for her, findcynthia.com, they were told by officers Cynthia is not coming home anytime soon, and Cynthia walked away from her car and went to start a new life. In response to these allegations, her younger sister, Tiffany, told Dateline, "The whole state was covered in snow, and there was no electricity for some people for upwards of a week. So who's walking out to start a new life? It just doesn't make any sense." Her family have argued that she would never leave anyway. Her sons were her world, and her job meant a great deal to her. While authorities did reportedly search the area around the vehicle, nothing of note was found. The area is very rural, surrounded by farmland, crop fields, and barns, making it especially puzzling that police had suggested that she'd simply walked away, as there was nowhere for her to go on foot. According to the family's website, they requested that DNA testing be carried out on the car, but investigators reportedly declined to do this and instead dusted for fingerprints. When the family complained about the lack of DNA testing, they were told that such testing had actually been carried out, but authorities stated they would not share the findings with the family. For years, there was no further movement in Cynthia's case. One of the most recent developments came in 2024, when an FBI agent was assigned to the case. Her family have noted that as of autumn that year, the assigned FBI agent did not contact them or her friends. There have been no new updates since. 39-year-old Cynthia Bartraore was last seen on the night of February 3rd, 2021, at a Shell petrol station in Grandview, Texas. She is described as a black female with black hair and brown eyes, standing at 5 foot 6 inches tall and weighing around 160 pounds. She has pierced ears and a disfigured right thumb, and may go by the name of Cindy or use the surname Alvoid. She was last seen wearing a brown jacket, a navy blue long-sleeved top, black trousers, multicolored shoes, and a brown hat. She was also carrying a red handbag with a plaid pattern on one side. She was driving a blue Mazda CX-5 on the night of her disappearance, with Texas license plate number NMJ3883, which has since been recovered. If she is still alive, she will be 44 years old. Anyone with information about Cynthia's disappearance can contact the Crowley Police Department at 817-297-2276 or the FBI at 817-984-0320. A $50,000 reward is available for information leading to her whereabouts. 30-year-old Georgina Garsala was living in Worthing, Sussex, England at the time of her disappearance. On March 7, 2018, at around 9:30 a.m., she left her mother's home in order to find somebody to fix an issue she was having with her mobile phone. She also had plans to stop by the Job Centre Plus in town afterwards, and had arranged to meet her father in a few hours' time. Before Georgina left the house, she got a small sub from her mother to cover the cost of repairing her mobile. CCTV recorded her at around 9:50 a.m. on Clifton Road, where she entered a corner store named the Clifton Food and Wine Shop. Employees would later tell investigators that the 30-year-old had asked for help with her phone, and they had directed her to a specialty shop nearby. This is the last known interaction that Georgina had before she vanished. She never went to the job centre as planned, nor did she attend the pre-arranged meeting with her father. Investigators found no record of her having entered any other shop after leaving the corner store, and her mobile phone disconnected from the network shortly after 11:30 a.m., though it was still connected to a local mast in Worthing. The mobile never reconnected, and Georgina's bank accounts have remained untouched since she vanished. Unfortunately, there was some delay in Georgina being reported missing. Her mother, Andrea, was not initially fazed when the 30-year-old didn't return home. She had recently separated from her partner, but the pair were still in communication, and she assumed that she had either gone to see him or had crashed at a friend's house. Neither of these actions would be unusual for the mother of two. Andrea later told The Independent, "I knew her phone wasn't working, so when I didn't hear from her for the first few days, I wasn't initially concerned. She often went to stay with friends or with her on-off boyfriend. There was a small thing in the back of my mind, though, that she did usually let me know, and I'd send her texts." She added that initially, she'd found herself annoyed by Georgina's disappearance. The 30-year-old had issues with binge drinking, bulimia, and social anxiety over the years, which led her to have somewhat of an erratic lifestyle. Andrea recalled, "I thought it was inconsiderate. I thought you could have at least let us know where you are." However, as the days passed, Andrea got more and more concerned, especially when she was contacted by Georgina's ex-partner, who was worried as he hadn't seen or heard from her in days. Over the next 72 hours, Andrea attempted to contact her daughter again and again, but to no avail. She contacted family members and friends, but no one had seen her. Finally, Georgina was reported missing on March 17th, 10 days after she was last seen. Sussex Police's handling of the disappearance has been heavily criticised by the family and by the media, and Georgina's mother has noted that communication from them has been few and far between. The family stated that they weren't even sure who was handling Georgina's case until mid-2019. In August of that year, they were shown a second potential sighting of the mother of two, captured on surveillance footage. It showed her on Chapel Road with another woman, but although the figure had Georgina's dark hair and wore a similar outfit, the police could not be sure if this was Georgina. Most notably, she appeared to have different shoes on. Her family was positive it was her, but police removed the images of the unidentified woman from their appeal due to this uncertainty. Georgina's family have also noted that she received a lack of attention and urgency, both from the media and the police, with Andrea observing, "I'd see cases across the UK becoming high profile in a day or two, and I would email the police and say, how come a girl in Yorkshire has drones and searches and police teams?" She has added that she believes Georgina's investigation was hampered by discrimination, accusing investigators of looking down on the mother of two because of her lifestyle choices or because she was half Libyan and therefore not fully white, stating, "If Georgina had been a blonde, blue-eyed girl who worked in Barclays, she would have had more attention. Many have pointed out that the searches for people like Claudia Lawrence or Madeleine McCann have received considerably more time, resources, manpower, and media attention than Georgina's. According to a Sussex police spokesperson, though, every effort has been made to find the missing mother of two. They have claimed to have conducted multiple searches in order to bring Georgina home, including using specialist teams with scientific equipment close to where she was last seen, and that they have even investigated a construction site she may have fallen into or been buried beneath. TV appeals have been made over the years, and investigators have followed up on over 100 potential sightings of Georgina up and down the country. Despite all of it, no further trace of the 30-year-old has been found, and in recent years, her case status has been changed to a no-body homicide. Over the years, various theories have been proposed in Georgina's case. Some believe that she left of her own volition in order to escape issues in her life, but her loved ones don't believe this is the case because she left behind her 2 young children when she vanished. It has also been suggested that she took her own life due to her mental health struggles. The main theory in the case, however, is that she was abducted and murdered. Police suspect that foul play is involved. In 2018, the case was featured on the BBC's Crime Watch programme, and Crime Stoppers offered a £5,000 reward for information leading to the conviction of her abductor. The following year, this reward was upped to £10,000, around the same time that the police changed the status of the case to a murder inquiry for the first time. Despite the monetary reward, Georgina remains missing. Unhappy with the way that the police investigation was going, Georgina's family and friends rallied together to try and set up their own examination of the case. They raised money to help fund this endeavour, which involved them setting up a dedicated Facebook page, hiring an actress to recreate Georgina's last known movements, carrying out searches in the Worthing area, and reaching out to retired detectives, requesting that they have a look at the police inquiry. Though the Facebook page generated dozens of tips, the police found most of them to be not credible, with many people changing their stories when approached by investigators for further information. In July 2020, Georgina's family asked for an independent review of police failings in the case. The results showed that the investigation had been very slow to start, poorly resourced, and lacking in commitment. It highlighted several issues around CCTV evidence, including that the police had failed to collect such footage in the Worthing area until a time when it may have been erased or recorded over, that several pieces of collected CCTV evidence were lost afterwards, and that it took over a year for the police to review the surveillance footage that they did have in their possession. March 7th, 2025 marked 7 years since Georgina went missing. The police made a fresh appeal for information, and Detective Superintendent Andy Wolstenholme, the senior investigating officer on the case, wrote an open letter to anyone who knows what happened to her but has yet to come forward. In the letter, he spoke of the pain of Georgina's family, encouraged witnesses to report what they know anonymously via Crime Stoppers, and asked them to consider being in the shoes of those who love and know Georgina. Wouldn't they want someone to come forward and put the missing pieces into place? The most recent information in Georgina's case came when Channel 4 examined her disappearance for their show In the Footsteps of Killers, presented by famed Scottish criminologist Professor David Wilson and silent witness actress Amelia Fox. During the investigation, allegations were made that Georgina was in the orbit of some very dangerous people, including Aldo Aringa, a convicted drug dealer for whom she was supposedly hiding drugs. Aringa was in prison at the time of her disappearance. A local shop owner named Mick Symes alleged that she had been hanging around people who were involved in Class A drugs. He added, "I'm not saying that Georgina was, but certainly the people she went around with were involved in the supply of drugs, and some quite serious and unpleasant situations." Her ex-boyfriend also stated during the documentary that she had several Albanian friends from when she had worked at a kebab shop in Brighton named the Albion. This shop reportedly has links to an Albanian crime family which supplies Class A drugs in the Brighton and Worthing areas and has a reputation for violence. Her other ex-partner, who was the father of her 2 children, had also worked at this same kebab shop. Despite these allegations, there has been no further movement in Georgina's case. Her mother, Andrea, told the media in March last year, "We still need answers. I am Georgina's voice now. I will fight for justice. She added, I know my daughter. We are very close. She's quite codependent on her family. I know Georgina would go out of her way to say, look after my boys, or I am okay. Really, the answers lie in the community, and until someone comes forward, I do not think they will be able to solve this. She's a mum to 2 boys who miss her desperately. They need answers. Anyone with information about Georgina's disappearance can contact Crime Stoppers anonymously at 0800 555 111. And there you have the facts. Please leave a comment down below with your own theories and speculations, and remember to like this video and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you for watching. Stay alert, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.